Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is Lap Guy for Rebel Ring with a Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Let's get this started. Start to brake before the 100-meter mark. You can also start to brake when the shadow of the grandstand, as shown here, ends. You want to get a really good rotation on the car as you'll be hitting the yellow curb that's hanging out just inside the apex. So brake in a straight line, and when you start to turn, start to ease off on the braking. The Huracan does pretty good in rotating, so use it to your advantage. And after you hit the apex, go at half throttle to stabilize the car just a little bit, and then you can go out full throttle. For the next turn, start to brake a little bit before you reach the 100-meter mark. You can also start to brake just after you hear the sound that indicates that you are in a new sector. I'll play this clip again without commentary in a little bit, but in the meantime, brake in a straight line and then try to hit the apex, but try to be careful to not hit too much of the yellow curb that's hanging out in the apex. Straighten the car out and start to accelerate as soon as you can, and if you're in first gear, shift into second as soon as you can to avoid hitting the rev limiter. The other thing you should be aware about is that the car might want to oversteer a little bit, so get ready to countersteer. Start to brake when you are about in between the 150 and the 100-meter mark. Brake in a straight line, and when you start to turn, slowly ease off of the braking. This will let you turn some more while you're still slowing down. And once you hit the apex, which is a little bit before you reach this yellow line up ahead, you can start to slowly start to accelerate. Be very gentle as it's sort of easy to lose control here. Then you want to start to brake a little bit before you reach the 50-meter mark. Make sure you shift down to third gear before you start to actually turn. When you're turning, you can then ease off of the braking. Then you want to get your car to hang out with the curb that is inside of the track, which is shown right here. You'll know you're doing pretty good as you'll eventually end up going alongside these tire marks that's on the left of the car right here. You can then start to slowly accelerate your way out of this turn. Then for the next turn, you want to start to brake when the main track joins with the little piece of track that's on the right. You want to do essentially the same thing as you did for the last turn, but you'll start to accelerate a little sooner than you did with the last turn. For this next turn, start to brake a little bit before you reach the officials that is on the left. Brake for a moment in a straight line, and when you ease off of the braking, make sure you know where you want the car to go, because the car will really get committed and you can't really change that in the middle of the turn. And be careful because it's a little easy to understeer here. Then for the last turn, start to brake before the red and white stripes on the left ends. Brake hard for a quick moment, then ease off of the braking, and when you hit the apex, you can then start to accelerate. And that's all for the guide. Non-commentary version is coming up, but anyways, this is Mr. MCA, the world's most OK player, and I'll see you in the next video.